DVD is about gestational diabetes and how to best manage it for you and your baby. Gestational diabetes is a type of diabetes that develops during pregnancy and usually goes away after the baby is born.
Yeah, when I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes, I was nervous. I was scared. I don't know what I have to do.
When I first diagnosed with gestational diabetes, I was actually a bit surprised because I had a little bit of idea about diabetes, but not gestational diabetes, because I've got a very healthy diet and I thought, how can I get gestational diabetes?
But when I saw my doctor, then she told me, don't worry, we have to go on certain diet and some physical activity. Everything will be okay. So it's very common, gestational diabetes.
I remember getting teary and upset, wondering if it was going to be harmful for my baby. But looking back, I think I managed reasonably well and fortunately didn't have any problem having the baby, and the baby was fine as well.
Yeah, when I, after the blood test, when I saw the doctor for the first time, yeah, he told me about my diagnosis, and also first thing he told that it mainly, they have come across more in Asian females, like that was the first thing he told, so not to worry, and this is not going to harm your baby because we will look after your diabetes. So you have to change your lifestyle, your food intake and everything, so everything will be all right. So that really like comfort me a lot.
It's so many factors, so it's important to talk to your doctor and follow the right procedures. Yeah.
It's important to manage gestational diabetes during the pregnancy because of the implications, particularly for the woman and for her baby during the pregnancy. So women are at increased risk of developing preeclampsia, which is the high blood pressure of pregnancy.
Although gestational diabetes won't cause your baby to be born with diabetes, it is important to manage it because your baby may grow too big. This can cause problems such as the need for a caesarean birth. Gestational diabetes also increases the risk of mother and child developing type 2 diabetes later in life. Diabetes develops when the amount of glucose, or sugar, in the blood becomes higher than normal. Glucose comes from certain foods we eat, called carbohydrates. These foods travel down to the stomach, then the intestine, where they are turned into glucose and moved into the bloodstream. A hormone called insulin, which is made in the pancreas, helps glucose move from the bloodstream into the body's cells, where it can be used by the body for energy. During pregnancy, the body needs more insulin than usual. Gestational diabetes occurs if the pancreas isn't able to make enough insulin. Women who are more likely to develop gestational diabetes include women over 35 years of age, women with a family history of type 2 diabetes, women who are overweight, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women, women from certain ethnic backgrounds, and women who have had gestational diabetes during previous pregnancies. 1 in 20 pregnant women in Australia has gestational diabetes, but this is much higher in some population groups. Gestational diabetes is diagnosed with special blood tests. These tests are usually done when the woman is between 24 to 28 weeks pregnant. However, it may be done earlier for women with many risk factors for gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is managed with healthy eating, being active, checking your blood glucose levels, and some women might need to take insulin. It is important to see a dietitian who will help you with healthy eating for you and your baby. They can also help you to make healthy food choices for managing your blood glucose levels and maintaining a healthy weight.
Diet is one of the most important ways of managing gestational diabetes because the foods that you eat affect the glucose in your blood, and by changing your diet you can actually manage your blood glucose levels. And I encourage women with gestational diabetes to have small, regular meals to satisfy their appetite, monitor their weight gain, and have a small amount of carbohydrate at each meal and snack.
Carbohydrate foods provide our bodies with important nutrients and energy. They are very important for you and your baby and are found in many foods we eat. You should try to eat carbohydrate foods that are high in fibre and low GI because they release glucose into your bloodstream more slowly. They also make you feel satisfied for longer and help manage your weight. Foods containing carbohydrates include breads and breakfast cereals, pasta, noodles, rice, couscous and burgul. Vegetables. Starchy vegetables such as potato, sweet potato and corn should be eaten in small portions because they are high in carbohydrates. All other vegetables contain minimal carbohydrates, so you can eat as much of the low carbohydrate vegetables as you like. Legumes, such as lentils and chickpeas. All fresh fruits are fine to eat in small serves. Low-fat varieties of milk, yogurt, dairy products and desserts. Women need to eat more foods that contain iron, folate and calcium during pregnancy because they're important for the health of both mother and baby.
Good sources of iron include red meat such as lamb, chicken, legumes, tofu and unsalted nuts. And folate can be found in many fruits and vegetables, especially broccoli, bok choy, cauliflower, asparagus, dark green leafy vegetables like spinach, strawberries, bananas and oranges. Legumes are also a great source of folate and many breakfast cereals now have folate added to them. Calcium can be found in cow's milk, calcium fortified soy milk, reduced fat yogurts and cheese, nuts and tahini. Women should have less foods that are really high in sugar like soft drink, lollies, chocolates, baked biscuits and cakes and pastries because these foods can really increase blood sugar levels. And this also applies to foods that are high in saturated fat or unhealthy fats like takeaway and processed foods, fatty meats, cheeses that are high in fat, fried snacks and deep fried meats. Try to reduce the amount of sugar, fat and salt used in your cooking. Choose good oils like canola, rice bran and olive oil over unhealthy ones like butter, ghee, cream, coconut milk and coconut cream. Cut the fat from around your meat. Grill and bake instead of fry food or try using an oil spray. For example, roti, chapati, naan and samosa can be baked rather than fried. Choose reduced fat feta cheese and make labneh using reduced fat yogurt. Healthy snacks to choose would be a tub of reduced fat yogurt, some cheese, a slice of toast, some baked beans, a boiled egg or some fruit. This healthy diet for gestational diabetes is not just for you, it's for your whole family, so it will help you to reduce your risk of type 2 diabetes, and we encourage physical activity and a healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life. So you can still have small amounts of low glycemic index carbohydrates, but really your plate should be made up with a small amount of carbohydrate and the rest of it should be vegetables and also protein foods, and those protein foods will help to fill you up. And if you're unsure about your diet or anything about the diet for gestational diabetes, you really need to speak to your dietitian.
The plate model is helpful when preparing meals. Half your plate should include non-starch vegetables or salad. Quarter of your plate is carbohydrate foods, and another quarter is protein food.
When I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes, I had a special appointment with dietitian. So dietitian, she gave me information pages what diet I have to have. Like I have to go on low GI diet mainly to control my blood sugar.
And some food got a lot of sugar in there. I didn't eat it or maybe try a little bit. Yeah, and after that I had to go for a walk or do something in the house.
When I saw the dietitian first, she asked me about like what I'm regularly taking, like about my meals, and because I'm from India, mostly like our meals are rice and some other side dishes are curries and some fish and meats. So she told me like whatever I'm taking that's all right, but I have to take a little bit less of carbohydrates, and like one meal shouldn't be too much, like every 2 hours I should be taking small amount of meals.
It helped me to actually talk to somebody who's their profession, so it helped me a great deal.
When I was diagnosed for first week, like it took me 1 week for like what I have to eat, what I don't have to eat, what in moderation and stuff like that. But now I am happy, all my sugar levels are okay.
Some people believe that women should eat more during pregnancy because baby needs lots of food, and that if you gain lots of weight, your baby will be healthier. Gaining too much weight during pregnancy will make it harder to manage your diabetes and the birth. Talk to your healthcare team if you feel you're gaining too much weight. Regular activities such as walking or swimming can help you to keep a healthy weight, keep you fit and healthy, prepare for the birth of your baby, and lower your blood glucose levels. Anything that gets you moving is generally good for your diabetes.
So the sorts of activities that women with gestational diabetes during pregnancy might be able to do are fairly simple activities that include going for a walk after a meal, playing with your children, doing some dancing with your children, things that can actually be really enjoyable, and they don't necessarily need to be really physical exercise. You don't need to go to the gym to get exercise. It can just be really simple activities. Doing the washing, doing the dishes, standing up while you're doing some of those activities, doing the house cleaning, making the beds, all of those simple things can actually help to bring the blood sugars down.
Some women may not feel comfortable exercising in public or on their own, or believe strong physical exercise may put a strain on the baby. You may feel more comfortable going for a walk with your husband, partner or family, taking your children to the park, playing with them around the house, or doing gardening and housework. Some local swimming pools have aerobic classes for women when the pool is only open to women from specific religions and cultural groups. Your local council can provide you with more information. You could buy a pedometer. This is a small device that counts your daily steps. It will measure just how much walking you're doing. Aim to walk 10,000 steps each day. Avoid too much TV and sitting down for long periods. Try to aim for 30 minutes of exercise every day.
Even now I go for a walk, and I will be just walking, and my son, he will be taking his fire truck, and he will side to side he will be going. So we both of us, we enjoy that.
I go for a walk every day and keep myself busy in housework so that I'm active.
Exercising, especially walking, I walked a lot. It really gave me energy, and also in my mind, I knew I am helping myself and my baby.
Regularly checking your blood glucose levels will help you to manage your diabetes. It is useful for understanding how the foods you eat and the physical activity you do affects your blood glucose levels. It also helps you to know when you may need to change your diet and exercise, or seek help to make those changes. Recording your blood glucose levels in a record book or sheet is important so you can discuss the results with your diabetes team at each appointment. Your doctor or diabetes educator will tell you the ideal blood glucose level for you. You will also have other tests during your pregnancy to help you manage your diabetes and make sure you and your baby are healthy. These include ultrasounds, blood tests, checking and listening to the baby's heart, feeling the baby, and checking your blood pressure and weight.
My blood glucose levels, I have to check it 4 times. One before breakfast, then 2 hours after every meal, breakfast, lunch and dinner.
I needed to check the blood glucose levels to ensure that my sugar levels were in the optimal range, and that if in case they were high, then maybe I needed to go on insulin. So for that reason, I needed to keep a tab on them.
If it's high, then you've eaten something that has contributed to that. The doctor looks at that and will know where you're at, and if you need insulin or you need to take more insulin or lessen the insulin. So it's really important to measure your blood glucose.
To check my blood sugar level, I was given a machine. There is a pen, I have to prick my finger. Just a drop of blood is needed, and have to put that on the strip, and the meter will give the reading what the blood sugar levels are.
If you have gestational diabetes, you can register with the National Diabetes Services Scheme, or the NDSS, Gestational Diabetes Register. It is free for women who have an Australian Medicare card. Your doctor or a nurse or midwife who is a credentialed diabetes educator can help you fill in and sign the registration form. The NDSS gives you information about diabetes services and products available at low cost that can assist you to manage your diabetes. The NDSS will remind you to have diabetes checks each year after your baby is born.
When women are managing their gestational diabetes, we always start first with diet and lifestyle modification, and that's really important. But we know that even with the absolute best intentions and the best effort that women can make, sometimes diet and lifestyle isn't enough. And that can often be due just simply to the genetic makeup of these women.
Insulin is needed when the sugar levels are outside of the target range that's recommended by your hospital that you're attending.
In pregnancy, we use insulin injections because we know they are safe for you and for the baby. Many women are very concerned about this. The injections are given into the tummy or into the top of the leg, most usually the tummy, and most importantly, they're not going to hurt the baby.
It's a small needle and it does not hurt. It's less painful than the finger prick.
If insulin is required, your diabetes educator or doctor will show you how to inject it. The injected insulin will help to lower your blood glucose level to within a range that is best for your baby's growth and development. It does not harm your baby. Your diabetes team will regularly review your blood glucose levels and advise you of the correct insulin doses to take.
Initially I was a bit worried about the pricks and the number of pricks that I was going to get in a day, but you know, in a few days I was okay with it, and I used to inject insulin while at work at my desk, and some of my friends used to freak out, and I used to inject insulin at the dinner table with my family around, and my niece used to freak out, but you know, I got the hang of it and I didn't really mind it. The needles were very fine and it wasn't very painful.
Remember, the injection of insulin will not harm your baby. Insulin will usually be stopped after the baby is born. Once you have had gestational diabetes, you're at a higher risk of developing diabetes later in life. The hospital or your GP will organise a test around 6 weeks after your baby is born to check that the diabetes is gone.
So the 6-week postnatal glucose tolerance test is exactly the same test that you had to diagnose your gestational diabetes.
After the delivery, my gestational diabetes was away, but the doctor wanted to make sure whether my gestational diabetes has not moved into type 2 diabetes. That's why they asked me to do the 6 weeks oral glucose tolerance test.
And I knew that I had to get the test done, but I just never got round to it. But my husband just kept on pushing me and made sure that I go to my GP and get my blood test done again. So I'm thankful to him for pushing me and actually making that appointment for me.
It was a bit like the waiting, like I knew I have to take that sugary fluid, which was not too tasty, and also I have to wait for 2 hours after every blood test. And also a bit nervousness, like what's my results going to be. But yeah, at the end when I got my result that I don't have any diabetes, that was worth doing all the tests.
Women who have had gestational diabetes are more likely to develop type 2 diabetes later in life. If you have another pregnancy, there's a very high chance of developing gestational diabetes again. Breastfeeding is good for both mother and baby. It helps the mother to lose weight and can reduce the risk of the mother developing diabetes later in life. You can reduce your risk of developing type 2 diabetes by eating healthy, staying active and keeping a healthy weight. Even if your test after the birth of your baby shows that you do not have diabetes, it is important to test for diabetes every year and before any future pregnancies. Remember, if you register on the National Gestational Diabetes Register, you and your doctor will be sent regular reminders to have diabetes checks. You will also receive information for you and your family to help you continue a healthy lifestyle. Gestational diabetes is managed by healthy eating, keeping active, monitoring your blood glucose levels, and medication if needed. It is important to have regular checkups with your healthcare team to get the best care for you and your baby.
Having had gestational diabetes, I know that I am significantly at risk of getting type 2 diabetes in the future, and for that reason I'm quite mindful of the lifestyle choices that I make.
Women can prevent getting gestational diabetes by watching their weight and eating a healthy diet.
You don't have to change anything about how you run your home, but the way you eat.
I'm happy that it's all under control. All my sugar levels are okay.
My main motivation was to have a healthy baby at the end, and that's what I think I got because I was doing my exercise and maintaining my diet.